That order calling the trust a, quote, unnecessary governmental entity. Now the future of the beloved national park is under a cloud of uncertainty. Former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi played a key role in securing the funds to revitalize the Presidio. She says she will do what she can to protect the park, but also called the order a distraction from the Trump administration's attempts to cut funding to critical services.
And don't let anything they're doing out there with their shiny objects distract you from the fact that what they want to do is to cut these initiatives. Department of Education, Title I for the poorest children, Head Start, nutrition programs in the Farm Bill.
Our Kevin Coe has been digging into the potential impact of that executive order. Joins us live from the Presidio right now. Kevin.
Ryan, it's part park, part office complex, part neighborhood. You know, the Presidio is one of those places where everyone here in the Bay Area, you could find a connection to it. So when President Trump honed in on the trust, well, it caused a very strong reaction from people here trying to protect their park.
I went to the Presidio when the 6th Army pulled out and taps were blown to close this historic part of the United States military, and wondered what the future would be like. I guess nothing is shocking these days.
Jim Wunderman was the chief of staff to former San Francisco Mayor Frank Jordan. He testified to Congress in the mid-90s, urging the creation of the nonprofit Presidio Trust, a federal agency charged with managing the historical and natural resources of the Presidio.
I thought it made a very strong case for how our city and our region would commit to making sure that this would become a national park where the government wouldn't have to put in any money, the only one in the country where the United States doesn't contribute a dollar to its maintenance.
But now, the landmark is in the crosshairs of the Trump administration's efforts to slash government spending. President Trump signed an executive order calling to cut all federal funding to the trust that is not legally necessary.
What stood out to me was this executive order took aim at the non-statutory elements of the Presidio and the Presidio Trust, but all the elements of it are statutory.
San Francisco Supervisor Stephen Sherrill represents the Presidio. He calls the executive order, quote, hot air and fear-mongering.
We are going to fight with everything we've got to protect you and your homes, but in this case, it's hard to fight against nothing.
The Presidio was created as a Spanish military fort in 1776. It was operated as a military post by Mexico for a period in the 1800s until the U.S. Army took it over in 1846. In 1989, the Department of Defense closed the Presidio as a military base, sparking an effort to convert it into a national park site. Led by late Senator Dianne Feinstein and Representative Nancy Pelosi, in 1996, Congress created the Presidio Trust.
It gives us a blueprint for national parks that one day will be able to sustain themselves without government funds.
The trust says it has been financially self-sufficient for 2 decades, relying on funding from leasing historic buildings.
The federal government is not contributing any money, so they really don't have anything to take away.
The Presidio has been circulated as a potential target of Republican cuts for weeks. Specifically, $200 million that was secured by Pelosi from the Biden administration for maintenance projects. It's unclear what the executive order means for that money, but the trust tells us it's already making progress on infrastructure projects that it's funding. Wunderman calls the decision to target the Presidio a tragic mistake, having seen what it took to make it a reality.
Nancy Pelosi, I was with her at the time it all happened and was involved, and it wasn't a sure thing. It was something that she was determined to make successful. So to see it sort of denigrated in some way is painful.
So for now, don't expect any immediate changes here at the Presidio. Now, the trust also did note that it will send a report to the federal government in 2 weeks, as is required by this executive order. But they also tell us they are confident they are in full compliance with the law.
All right, Kevin Coe reporting live from the Presidio. In the meantime, San Francisco Mayor Daniel Lurie responded to the president's executive order saying, quote, the Presidio is a crown jewel of San Francisco and a national model for how public land can serve the public. The Presidio Trust is self-funded for more than a decade, and San Franciscans can rest assured the Presidio is not going anywhere. We stand ready to support Speaker Pelosi and our federal partners.